Cleveland Mayor George Voinovich excited about this game. No less excited than the man standing next to me. He is Jim Frey, American League manager, in his spare time manager of the Royals. Jim, the Nationals have won 9 straight. How much do you think about that?
I think a lot about it. I've been thinking about it all year, and this week I've been reminded of it about 1,000,000 times. I'm really getting tired of the National League people popping off about it, and I'm going to try, not me, but our players are going to try to turn it around tonight.
Will you play this like an exhibition, or will you play it to win it?
Well, to some extent, it's an exhibition because we're going to use a lot of players. But when we get down to the last couple innings, you can throw out the exhibition.
You have caught a lot of heat in this town because it could have been a good public relations move to start their hometown favorite, Lem Barker. Instead, you're going with Jack Morris. Why?
Well, first of all, I've never been a public relations director, so I don't know about that. I thought I did it honestly with statistics and records and consistency, and I think Jack Morris fit that.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much. Best wishes.
Representing the Kansas City Royals, second baseman Frank White.
Lem Barker, who had the perfect game, and you can't help but wonder what would have happened had he been the starting pitcher. He has to come back for another ovation.
Manager Jimmy Frey really wrestled with that one, as he told Brian Gumbel in the pregame show.
And now, the manager of the American League All-Stars, managing his first All-Star game, from the American League champion Kansas City Royals, Jim Frey.
Well, had Jim Frey started Barker, I think they would have been cheers, but he didn't, and he has to pay the price.
The American League starting lineup. Batting third from the Kansas City Royals, the league's most valuable player in 1980 and the top vote getter this year, third baseman George Brett. Batting
The defense, Singleton, Kenny Singleton in left field. Dave Winfield in center, Reggie Jackson in right field. George Brett from Kansas City at third. Bucky Dent from the Yankees at short. Willie Randolph also from the Yankees at second base. Rod Carew at first base. Carlton Fisk of the White Sox. And the starting pitcher from the Detroit Tigers, Jack Morris. And Jimmy Frey said he started him. He said if he had wanted to start somebody on emotion, he would have started Barker in his hometown after the perfect game. But he said, I went on sheer stats. He's been the most consistent.
First inning. There is no score. National League, nothing. American League, nothing. And 2 up. Carew, Randolph, and Brett.
This is an excellent infield to play on. It has always been in good shape. You usually get good bounces. It was covered during the rains. But remember, the National League is used to playing on more artificial surfaces. And a little bit of erratic hops may give them a little bit of trouble. That's a hit all the way, though. Schmidt covered ground like a shortstop from that third base spot.
George Brett. Brett led all the players in balloting with 1,144,000. Randolph with 1 out is on at first base. There's no score. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. 0-1. Carter ready to throw. He likes to throw. He'll throw to any base.
And Joe, with Brett, as smart a hitter as he is, there is a big gap between Lopes at second and Rose at first base. And if he gets a pitch inside, Brett is going to try and use that hole and pull the ball through. Try and get a first to third going for the American League. Lopes is really cheating up the middle.
Right back to Valenzuela. Nobody covered. And Randolph is safe. Valenzuela very alertly held that ball.
Good play, wasn't it? Brett was jabbed. He did not get a good jump out of the box. There was a mix-up for this reason. Concepcion said, I'm taking the throw. And any ball hit to you, Fernando. He was speaking to him in Spanish. But Concepcion then went for the ball. And Lopes did not get over to cover. Valenzuela very alertly got 1 out, Joe. Good play by the kid. He really kept his head.
1 ball and 1 strike. Brett has it on the big hop. 1 out.
I'll tell you, Joe, the first inning of play, The defense played the game like it's almost mid-season form because we had a heck of a play by Carew, heck of a play by Valenzuela. This play almost handcuffed Brett, but he throws Foster out. It was Bill Verdon from the Houston Astros coaching down at first base.
Taking charge in foul territory, he makes the play. So Youngblood pops to Carew in foul territory. That ends it. Now, Damian Lopes, you see walking off, had some problems, but the good hops are easy. Bad hops are tough. You saw one there. We're going to give a tribute to the second baseman who make bad hops look pretty easy. Now we've got Barker against Parker. You know, Barker's had control problems, and he had one famous pitch, ended up on the screen.
If these pitchers can get their breaking stuff over the plate like Barker is right now, these hitters might have a long day.
Out on strikes. Here's George Brett. Brett tapped in front of the plate his first time up.
I think surprisingly, when we were in Kansas City about a week ago, George Brett told us that he never picked up a bat until the strike was over with. Played golf, rode some horses. Said it would take him 7 days to 10 days to be ready to hit.
Well, his manager said he could hit buckshot with barbed wire. And if you can do that, you don't have to practice too much. Takes it outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Two nothing pitch. Outside. Before the game, George Brett was honored by Mr. Sam Shell of Gillette as the top vote getter. 3 balls and no strikes. And there you see it. The trophy they received. It's a strike. 1-0 is the score. A home run by Ken Singleton. The American League is out in front. And we hope you're enjoying this telecast. It's been a long time coming. 3 balls, 1 strike. There are so many people that you'd like to mention that you think about, but there are a couple special folks. Drew Olmeyer, we know you're watching. Susan Bresnan, who usually is here, from our NBC staff. Shad Mason, a good friend of Pee Wee Reese, all in the hospital. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Brett's not enjoying it. That was a good curveball, and out on strikes he goes. That's 2 strikeouts for Bob Knepper.
Well, Knepper said before the game he was a little concerned of being able to throw his breaking ball. I mean, he goes 3-2 and really snaps one off on Brett. You can see George just freezes. Low and away, Carter holds the target, and he just hit it.
Tony, when they throw a curveball that hard in that spot, all you can do is genuflect. Well, is it deja vu? We just finished with Hubble, and here's Knepper with 2 strikeouts. Randolph and Brett. Dave Winfield. Big guy almost went for it, took it high outside.
And
ball 1.
It was some sight about 3 hours before the ball game. There's Jim Frey, the American League manager, when Dave Winfield's kids came in, about 1,000 strong in the left field bleachers. The Winfield Foundation paid for about 1,000 Cleveland area kids. Where, well, it was a non-pickoff played second base. They ended up losing the ball game 1-0.
Phil Macy. It was Feller to Boudreaux. George Brett. It's it high, ball 1. Bottom of the 5th inning. National League 1, a home run by Gary Carter. American League 1, a home run by Ken Singleton. He doesn't get it.
Looked like the knuckle curve. Bert Hooton has come up with a pretty good straight change of pace to go with that fastball. He's not overpowering, but he's got that tricky knuckle curve that really goes down. With that straight change he's got now, he's really something.
There's his strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Let's watch.
So many
George
more
Frey.
players now, George, moving farther away from the plate, I think, and using the whole field to hit, and even power hitters.
Well, Carew's explanation is he can see the ball longer. Brett, the same way. When he first came up, they had to break him from being a pull hitter who modeled himself after Yastrzemski holding the bat high. Got him to hold that bat down.
The keys to success, he really relaxes and waits.
He doesn't get it. It's a strikeout, so that brings up Dave Winfield.
Hitting. Hunting.
Bunted foul. And it's strike 1.
Fans don't like it. All-Star Game, they're giving a little second guess by their boos to Jimmy Frey, the manager. They want Fish to hit away, I think, which he might do right now with 1 strike.
Well, Frey said that he was going in the late innings. He was just going to play to win this thing. They haven't won since 1971 when Reggie Jackson hit that tremendous and memorable home run off Doc Ellis in Detroit.
National League has won 17 of the last 18 All-Star Games.
American League leads 3-2. Green's going to visit with Hooten. May make a pitching change, and I would say he is, the way he's just taking that ball. There goes Happy Hooten. So we've got a break in the action here as the American League is taking the lead here. It's 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back with more action after these messages.
Mike White to replace Simmons, who pinch hit for Randolph. So White will stay in the game at second base. A new pitcher for the National League, Dick Ruthven of the Phillies.
It started with Singleton. He singled to center. Evans singled to right. Fisk had a single. Lynn an infield hit. A sacrifice fly by Bell. Murray hit into a force out. A single by Simmons. And here we are with Oliver up there, 2 men out. It's popped up. Ozzie Smith going out hard. Tough play. Dusty Baker makes the play. Oh, what a play he made.
We have now seen 4 great plays in this All-Star Game. Dusty Baker was playing Al Oliver very deep in left center field because Oliver has power in that direction. Smith sees he can't get it. Dawson over and a dive by Dusty, and he's got it. What a play.
Dusty Baker with that shoestring catch. Remember the first time you heard those words? Some make it look hard, some make it look easy. And there's Baker's catch, and he just made a few minutes ago. Some make it look hard, some make it look easy, but they all make the play.
To save the National League 2 runs.
We've got all kinds of changes. They have not been able to get him up to the press box yet, as Lee Elia is just now finishing with Bill Haller behind the plate. We've got a new pitcher, Ron Davis. We've got a new shortstop in Burleson. Right now, there's no left fielder. We're going to have a new left fielder. Tony Armas is going somewhere.
I think the confusion was, Joe, that Lynn was probably going to stay in the game, but I don't know if something happened to him because Winfield started to move to left field and Lynn was going to go to center, but now Winfield stays in center and Tony Armas goes to left. So it's Armas in left, Burleson at short.
And Ron Davis, the pitcher, and Bo Diaz is the catcher. There's Burleson. We'll give you where they're batting. Jim Frey is just going over with Bill Haller to make sure.
I think the confusion might have been, in fact, even in Winfield's mind, he started to move to left field expecting Lynn to go to center, and Lynn didn't come out. Finally, Armas did, and Winfield stayed in center. But there's Ron Davis, who, after Gossage had some shoulder tightness, was scratched, and Davis took his place.
He faces Gary Carter. First pitch, straightaway center field. Winfield going back, near the wall, back, leaps, can't get it. There's no indication. Now it's a home run, indicated by the second base umpire, Lou DeMuro. What a try by Dave Winfield, but Gary Carter has his second home run of the night, and it's a 4-3 ball game. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Each manager sitting back in this close ball game. One with a guy named Bruce Sutter in his bullpen, the other with a guy named Raleigh Fingers. Dallas Green and Bill Bird, and there's Jimmy Frey.
There he goes, a big jump. Good ball to handle, thrown into center field. And now Smith's going to try for third. They got him hung up. Buddy Bell to Burleson. And now Fingers has to cover. And Smith falls, and it's all over. Everybody's down.
That was the most graceful play of the evening on a lot of people's parts. And Ozzie Smith probably should have stopped right where it does. Diaz hit the umpire. No, it just pops out.
In practice is playing spring training, some catchers. You throw it into center field to set it up.
All right, this will give you an idea of the things that go unnoticed with a Dave Winfield. See how far he came in, playing deep on Easler to back up the play, and Fingers backed up the play properly to tag out Smith.
And there goes a half gainer by Raleigh Fingers. The play goes 2, 8, 5, 6 as Smith decides he's going to make it to third and says, uh-oh, got to make a U-turn. But it's too late. And now it's Bell chasing him, and now it's Burleson, and Fingers is there. And keep in mind, the way you make this play, only one man should handle that ball.
Frank Robinson, just been a carryover now in the attitude of the National League team. They come in so confident.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Schmidt has averaged 1 home run every 15.06 times at bat in his 8-year career. There's 1 man out. 5-4 is the score. National League out in front. Frank White checking with the pitcher.
Well, he's going to make sure that Steve, a fairly young pitcher, although he's been in All-Star competition before, keeps a little bit of an eye on Tim Raines because he will steal third base. Steve is a tough pitcher to catch. His ball moves a lot.
There you see Raines. NBC Game of the Week schedule. We'll be in Montreal.
You know, this is a special thrill for Dave Steve. He's having a pretty good week. There you see our games, Royals versus Cardinals, or the Indians versus... I got that wrong.
If the Royals
Indians, Cardinals, Expos. I'm thinking of Championship Series. Right?
You're thinking of an all-Missouri series, Tony. Hometown St. Louis.
It's hard to say about Steve. He's having a pretty good week because he's getting married on Friday. His fiancée Patty's here in the stand. Tune in Saturday. A couple good ball games for you. You know, I was thinking of there's Jimmy Frey again, who, again, not taking anything away from the American League pitching staff as we look at Frank White, but he would love to have the goose.
Oh.
As Dallas Green has Sutter.
Bouncing ball to trio. That grunt you hear is Nolan Ryan. So it's 3 up and 3 down. We complete 8 innings of play here. The score, National League 5, the American League 4. Smith a good lead at first. Bouncing ball to Burleson. In time to force is on. That ends the inning. And we go into the bottom of the 9th. It's National League 5, American League 4.
Dallas Green has put in his last regular. Phil Garner has gone in to second base. Bruce Sutter is the pitcher.
And Frank White, the batter, fouls it off.
Both managers have used all the regular players. With Sutter coming in now to try and finish this game off for the National League, the only pitcher left for Dallas Green is Carlton, lefty. For the American League, Britt Burns, Doug Corbett of the Twins, and Scott McGregor of the Orioles.
Foul ball, and it's strike 2.
I think it's unusual because Dave Stieb is in the on-deck circle.
You don't think he's going to bat?
Who's he got? That's it. Dave Stieb spent a lot of years in the minor leagues. He broke in as an outfielder. The Toronto Blue Jays converted him. Now, unless I've missed something, Steve's got to hit for himself because there isn't anybody left.
I'm looking at my scorecard, and
Looks
I
like
can't
a
read
bingo
it.
card. Every regular's been used. I think really where the crink came in the armor of, if there is a word like that, of
what?
Crink in the armor of Jimmy Frey. It's when Fred Lynn couldn't go out and play defense, and Armas had to come in earlier than he expected. And if Lynn got hurt, or what happened?
Pull foul. Look out there.
Well, Gary Carter in this game of home runs, I think has got my vote. He had two first pitch home runs. There's the trophy, which will be presented by the Commissioner of Baseball, Bowie Kuhn.
I got to give it to Carter. He made a great throw. First inning as Madlock comes up with it. And there's one out. Dave Steve will bat for himself. 56 players were used in this game as we check it. And that's a new All-Star Game record. So most players used. And biggest crowd ever in an All-Star game.
Well, you hate to say it, but Jimmy Frey has put himself in an embarrassing position. Down by one, having to let his pitcher hit. But Steve has swung a bat before in the minor leagues, but with the DH in the American League, he hasn't since he's been in the major leagues. And that's what the boos are for. There's nobody left, and that is because of not the crink, but the chink in the armor.
That's the first. You're looking at another historical event. It's the first at bat in the major leagues for Dave Steve.
Yeah.
Five to 4 is the score, and the American League, who have not won an All-Star game since 1971, are 2 outs away from losing this one. The dominance of the National League will continue.
Maybe. You still got to get by Winfield. Still got to get by Winfield.
Listen to the crowd.
Well, Jimmy Frey has got to be a little embarrassed, but it really isn't all his fault. I think because of Freddie Lynn having to leave the game. For what reason, we haven't gotten a report. But he still gets his cleanup hitter up to face Suter with that split-fingered fastball.